The only lawsuit I heard related to Little Durk recently was Mama Duck, right? FBG Duck's mother suing him, OTF, I think the distributors and all that, over capitalizing over her son's passing. And we read that paperwork. Was that like last year? It was either last year or earlier this year. That's the only lawsuit I knew about Lil Durk being involved in. So I saw these headlines, and instead of acting like I knew what the hell it was, I just pulled the paperwork, and I'm gonna find out what this is about right here live with y'all. I have no clue. But Exceed Talent Capital LLC was the plaintiff. Mind y'all, people, the headlines is that this is now dismissed. Is the plaintiff, and this is against Derek Banks, PKA Little Durk, Andrew Bonsu, Only the Family Entertainment Incorporated, OTF label, yada 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 yada. Complaint and jury demand. Okay, what was this about? Nature of the action. Through this action, plaintiff Exceed Talent Capital LLC seeks redress against defendant for their manifest fraud and what is that? Concomitant, whatever, breaches of the party's music revenue rights through which defendant purported to grant exceed significant rights in connection with the sound recording by defendant Dirk Banks, a well-known recording artist who is professionally known as Lil Durk. In the agreement, defendant purported to grant exceed rights in the revenue streams generated from the exploitation of Banks' recordings, rights which the agreement expressly contemplated would be the subject of an investment offering facilitated by Exceed, in which defendant confirmed an agreement, albeit falsely, that they had the right and the ability to convey to Exceed. As alleged, in more detail below, despite defendants' unambiguous contractual representations and warranties regarding their rights in Banks' recording, Exceed how now learned that Banks previously had assigned to a third party to exact same rights that defendants, including Banks, purported through the agreement to grant to Exceed, and that as such defendants' contractual representations and warranties upon which Exceed expressly relied in entering into the agreement and expanding substantial resources in connection with the investment offering contemplated thereby were abjectly full. Okay, I'm a decent reader, but that shit just felt too professional for me. I still don't know what the fuck is going on. And I'm pretty smart at times, all right? Like, what? The only thing that's coming to mind so far is he had an agreement with somebody about some type of rights related to his music or something that they were supposed to capitalize on. And what did he negate on them or something? Like, what the fuck did I just read? Let me try. Let me try the next one. As a result of the foregoing, which led to Exceed's termination of the party's agreement and compelled its withdrawal of the planned investment offering, Exceed has sustained and continues to suffer significant losses and damages, including the loss of substantial funds that Exceed paid to defendant under the agreement to obtain rights that defendant neither possessed nor had the ability to grant to Exceed, and to significant costs and expenses incurred by Exceed in connection with the attendant to the investment offering contemplated by the parties' agreement. But what was it? What was the agreement between you guys? Like, what was the work or the monetary? What gave y'all monetary value to bring y'all into business? What was that? As I see a number here, okay. As defendants have failed to and refused to acknowledge any responsibility for their intentional misrepresentations and material contractual breaches, let alone take action to rectify the same, Exceed was compelled to bring the present action to obtain legal redress against defendants for the substantial damages it has sustained by reason of defendants' misconduct and defalcations, or what is that? Defalcations, which total an aggregate in excess of 12 million. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Okay, the parties we know already. Jurisdiction, we don't care. Factual background. Exceed, all right, you're going to say who? Yeah, who are you? Exceed is a financial technology firm whose primary business is in facilitating through its proprietary investment platform a broad range of investment opportunities and assets related to entertainers, influencers, creators, athletes, and other talent. Okay. In or around 2000, here we go. In or around mid 2022, Exceed sought to expand its existing business to allow investors to purchase, pursuant to U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission qualified investment offerings open to investors drawn from the public ownership interests in entities holding rights in the revenue streams generated through the exploitation of sound recordings by popular recording artists such as Banks. In furtherance of the endeavor, in or around summer 2022, Exceed entered into discussions with Orthea Lee, the CEO of music industry consulting firm TTPMG, and Bonsu, Banks' then business manager and the owner of OTFEI and OTF, concerning the contemplated grant by OTF, yada, 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 collectively of certain rights in the revenue generated from the exploitation of Banks' sound recording entitled Bedtime. So that's a song? Or is that just something separate? Because the only thing that comes into my mind is like, yo, his mute isn't he? He's a signed fucking artist. So it's just like, what's this deal? Is this a side? You making money on the side? It's this little experimentation type of thing. Like, I'm not tripping for anybody that don't catch the reference. If you don't know New Jack, hop off the stream, go watch it, come back. We may not still be here. Replay where you left off. Better know New Jack. But anyway, so whatever this bedtime is, hold on, let me check it out real quick. Lil Durk bedtime. Bedtime. Is that a song? The fuck? What is that? What is that? Is that a song that I don't remember the song? Yes, there's a track titled Bedtime from Lil Durk featuring Duty Low. However, it appears the song has somewhat irregular release status. Okay. The track has been discussed and promoted, especially in connection with the rights investment scheme. Oh. One report listed as a yet to be released at the time of the article, yet there is legal controversy around its rights, which suggests an official distribution may be limited or unclear. I'm not even going to go on with investigating that track and all that down right now. I just am confused as to how a signed artist who probably already has rights to his recordings, and there's this side deal with these people. Like, I don't know who this is, this Exceed shit. All right. In any event, at least we understand the premise now. Okay. As further alleged below, OTF and are respectively Banks, furnishing company, and his record label during the course of the parties' discussions concerning the contemplated transaction, the OTF parties and Bonsu assured Exceed that they possess the power and lawful authority to convey those rights to Exceed. Maybe that's the problem right there. Because what's hazy to me is him being a signed artist, but maybe you guys were under the impression that you were going to have rights to this bedtime song and you didn't, and therefore that's why we're researching and it says that it's unofficially released, so you never were able to monetize it. Is that what's going on here? And if so, I don't know about $12 million. I mean, he is a big artist, but I'm just saying. Following the parties' discussion and negotiations, August 3rd, 2022, Exceed on one hand and OTF parties on the other hand entered into the agreement which, as further alleged below, purported the grant exceeds significant rights in the revenue streams generated from the use of the recording and any element thereof in whole or in part, and any underlying musical compositions in any and all media. I hope it's more than one song, all of this shit. Banks also executed a contractual inducement which was appended to incorporated into an agreement pursuant to which Banks expressly confirmed the authority to grant the rights and furnish. We be hearing Vaughn and Dirt and all this. Well, I do a track, do a feature for him. Don't clear the verses. Oh, I don't care who they is. We go off merch. I'm just saying, it almost sounds like that. It almost sounds like that. All right. I don't want to go too much deeper into the weeds of all that, breach of contract against all defendants. We pretty much got a gist of what it's about, right? But is this the piece that I pulled of the dismissal? No, okay. So I pulled that for y'all because that was the original complaint. I wanted us to see what this headline was about that was going around the internet. Like, hey, Lil Durk got a win. He just beat some $12 million lawsuit. That's the paperwork. We could have read more of it, but you know, it just seems so it's a little grayish to me. Maybe that's why this shit is dismissed. But here's a dismissal. Exceed Talent Capital LLC versus Durk and OTF, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Stipulation of dismissal with prejudice as to defendants Derek Banks, PKA Little Durk, only the family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Remember, people, what prejudice means, once again, is that you can't come back and file a new lawsuit related to this particular situation. Okay, like if you sue me for beating the shit out of you, and the lawsuit is about how I punched you in the face, but then after I punched you in the face, you was wobbly, and while you wobbled down the road, you got hit by a car. I don't know. When it's dismissed with prejudice, you're not going to be able to bring back some shit that's related to. So you sued me for punching you in the face. It got dismissed with prejudice, and then you came back later and tried to sue me for the car. You can't do that with the prejudice dismissal. That's my understanding of prejudice. It's just like, nah, it's done. So if you get your shit dismissed, you never want it without prejudice, because then they can come back with possible different stipulations, different terms, bring it off the shelf again. So, but that's the dismissal, and it is off the books. So when you guys see that headline with Lil Durk going around today, Exceed Talent Capital LLC, they had some agreement, possibly over this Bedrock song or other works that they believed Durk could had the power, I guess, to allow them to monetize or to give them rights to. Find out that that's not working out. We need some money, $12 million. They dismiss it. Why they chose to dismiss it, that's not really here. I glanced this earlier. It's not saying why, really. It's just an all-out dismissal. I would have wanted to see something like, and you don't normally see that. You don't normally see why something is ended. We're dismissing it because we lack evidence or whatever. Like, I'm not going to see that in this paperwork here, But anyway, and I'm going to keep it consistent. Let's do one more of the terror, but this time for Durk.
So look, man, I just got to do it, right? I just got to do it to you, okay? I've been wanting to ask you this question. It's a controversial question, okay? You've been hating a lot on Lil Durk, all right? You've kind of been dunking on Durk since he's been in this situation, okay? You was one of the first people that was out here pushing Slide for Von. You had it in the music video.
I was the first person.
You was Mr. Slide for Von, right? Yeah. You was mocking Durk. You was saying, you was quoting that song that he had with that Von had with Fabio. He said, "If I die, my dude's gonna slide every day. They're gonna boost the murder rate." You kept throwing that back at him, man. But can you now admit, Durk sat down for murder for hire? He slid for Von, man.
Yeah, because we basically peer pressured him to.
So you're saying you did that?
We bullied him into doing that. If the fans didn't bully him, he was gonna let his man die. Nobody slapped him, but he felt the pressure. Listen to me. When did Von die?
Was it November the 6th, 2020?
2020? When did they slide?
It was August the 22nd. I think it was August 22nd, 2022.
2022?
So just under 2 years.
So it took you 2 years to slide? Quando was doing interviews out here with, not Angie Martinez, with what's his girl name from Lip Service?
Oh, Angela Yee.
Angela Yee. Like, he was outside, like, you know what I mean? It took him 2 years to slide. You know why? Because we pressured him to, you know what I mean? Because I'm not even saying, it's just like, Von was saying, and if I should die, they're going to boost the murder rate.
They're going to slide every day.
They're going to slide every day. They're going to use his credit card till 2 years later. Like, let's talk about it. Like, what the
So I got to call cap on one thing, okay? Yeah. Because they say that they...
Leave it alone. Leave it alone, people. Leave it alone. I mean, last year I did a stream saying that 6ix9ine is definitely one of the heaviest influences behind Durk's actions. And you don't even have to say directly, like, don't take that the wrong way. Like, Durk said, all right, 6ix9ine, watch this. No, it's everything that comes with it. With 6ix9ine trolling and troll. The internet is one of the most influential things in human history. And all these people in his comments, in his videos, on his tweets, in his ads, in his everything, in the streets as well. Slide, you're gonna slide for Vaughn. What's gonna happen behind Vaughn? Vaughn, your man gone, or y'all talk all that shit. You know, if everybody was quiet, I mean, you never know. But I do feel like that's a factor. And hence him getting up on academics, which is also in his paperwork. When academics ask him about Slava Vaughn, he says, for some odd reason, I don't hear that no more. Right? It is what it is.